Mr. 411, how's it going?
It's going great, Zach. Man, just jumped out of one studio, landed into the next one. Kind of like somebody we're gonna talk about later. That went from one place and landed the next one to me right away. But man, how you been?
Blessed. That's all I can say. Blessed.
That's it. That's it. All right. Today is December the 7th.
And Georgia's going back to the college football playoff.
Huge news.
And we get to play Ohio State when about 75, we'll go 50% of my teammates in college were Ohio guys. So
wow.
This will be awesome.
They were Ohio State guys or just Ohio guys?
Ohio guys that love Ohio State. If you're from Ohio, you love Ohio State. Like that's
so y'all gonna have a lot of bragging rights then. A lot of things y'all gonna have to
not y'all.
Well, right. You and them, right? It's gonna have to be some bragging rights back and forth, right?
Nah, it'll only be one-sided.
All right. Well, I hope they're listening, Zach. Make sure they hear all this.
I will try to get a couple of them on so before the game we can have a spirited debate.
There you go. I like that word too. All right. Today is December the 7th, 2022. Welcome to the Sports Brothers Show. He is Zach, the jovial Zach, and I'm Mr. 411. And we are in for an interesting show today. We have a guest that's on the way, so can't wait for our guest to arrive. But before then, Zach, you already know the drill. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Let's Sports Brothers. Here we go.
All right. Oh, it didn't finish.
Oh,
that's your favorite part. It cut out quick.
Oh.
All right, that is much, much better.
All right. It cut out quick, just like somebody we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But yes, man, Zach, we welcome everybody to the show, Sports Brothers. Today we'll delve into the NFL a little bit as the playoffs are positioning, starting to take shape. There's some key injuries happening, but it is football, so hey, that goes without said. Teams have to deal with injuries, but there's a lot of opportunity there for some teams coming up. If we have time, we'll talk a little NBA to see how things are going there. But first, we're going to talk about Coach Prime, and that's Deion Sanders, former head coach, current head coach of Jackson State and the current head coach at the University of Colorado, because according to all the reports and everything, that Coach Sanders will coach in the Celebration Bowl, North Carolina Central versus Jackson State in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's coming up in another week. But yes, Zach. Yeah, so we're definitely going to get on that topic and, and some other things as well if we can. So please hit the like, subscribe, the notification button, do all those good things for us. It does nothing but help the Sports Brothers.
And y'all are doing a wonderful job. Our numbers keep going up. That makes Mr. 401 very happy because he lets me know all the time.
Exactly. Oh, do you hear anything, Zach?
Yes, I do.
All right, I wonder who it could be.
There we go. Let us see. How you doing, Mr. Thomas?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
All right. Lamont E. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. How you gentlemen doing?
It is good. This is, I think, about to get a little bit better. We're going to see. I think maybe one of us is going to be more for Deion than the other, which might be a change.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and lay it out there. Coach Prime has taken his talents to Colorado, and so he officially took the deal with Colorado Buffaloes, and he will be the head coach there. And so there's a lot of implications with that. And so let's first just get overall thoughts on it. I mean, you're the guest in the building today, Mr. Thomas. By the way, from IMG Academy.
Yes.
And so we want to
don't
get.
ever forget that. He's one of my favorite people. Lord willing, he's one of my favorite schools, favorite people also.
Yes. And look at that picture right there. Lamani Thomas, IMG Academy. He's a director of track and field. So, you know, he knows that game. He knows sports all the way around. But man, they brought him in for his expertise in the track and field game as well. But he keeps close tabs on all the sports there. And also, go ahead and do it now, LT. We'll do it for you right now. Ash and Smoke Cigars, Lamani Thomas, infused cigars, gift sets, cigar box purses, accessories, and more. One day, I want you to tell me what a cigar box purse is, but 518-61-CIGAR. That's 518-61-CIGAR. You can reach Lamont E. Thomas at 518-61-CIGAR. I'll say it one more time. 518-61-CIGAR. Ash and Smoke.
Man, you were
Thank
getting
you,
a
sir.
really
Thank you,
good
sir.
radio
Appreciate you.
voice. Yes,
All
I
right.
know. Like he needs to do ads for everybody. Look, he make me want to get an ad there, Mr. Thomas.
Hey, he does a great job.
All right, guys. I'll pay y'all later for those great words there. But man, so what's your thoughts on Coach Prime taking the job? LT?
I believe it's a great opportunity for Coach Prime. It's a great opportunity for Colorado. This is just my opinion. Deion has been blessed consistently throughout his career. High school, college, the pros, in both sports. He's been very talented. He did well when he coached high school and youth sports, and when he got an opportunity to go to Jackson State, he was successful there as well, obviously. So I believe he said the Lord has led him to be elevated, take that opportunity at Colorado, and I believe he's going to be successful there as well.
All right. What type of impacts you see this happening as far as man, hearing about this portal, and it's like over 1,000 in the portal the first day. I mean, tell us about the portal and tell us the impact that you think this is having on the college football landscape.
Well, first, let me talk about how it's going to impact Colorado, the university itself. They've sold almost $50,000 in merchandise in one day, which is the highest revenue sales they've ever had. They've gotten over 42 million people watching his videos and over 170,000 new subscribers and followers on social media. This dude is making a crazy impact. And I guess because he has such a great relationship with his players at Jackson State, and he's very transparent on social media. And there's been over 1,000 players since Monday who have entered the portal, compared to 3,000 athletes who entered the portal all of last year. So this is good and bad. So Deion is going to have a large selection to choose from to make sure that his team is where he wants it to be. But at the same time, other college coaches are going to have that same opportunity to grab those athletes as well. So, but I believe a lot of athletes have joined the portal because Deion is going to Colorado, and some schools are going to feel pain because of it.
Okay. What about the impact this has on Jackson State?
Well, it's going to impact Jackson State because when you have someone like Deion that leaves Jackson State, it's going to leave a hole. He's talked to the athletic director, and he's trying to get the associate head coach to take over as the new head coach. But at the same time, will they be able to connect will those coaches be able to connect with those students the way Deion did? Deion is a very spiritual person, and whereas other individuals may or may not be, they may not have the relationships or not be able to connect with the athletes the way Deion has. And will they be able to recruit at Jackson the way that Deion has? So I think all in all, this is going to impact Jackson State. Jackson State has the ability to continue to be successful because they do have the blueprint, but it's just all about applying the blueprint that's been given to them.
Okay, Zach, you had anything you wanted to shoot to Lamont?
No, I was just gonna kind of speak on Dion real quick.
Sure, please do.
Well, first, shame on all of the black people out there that are calling Dion a sellout because he left Jackson State when he went there and left the place in a better condition than what he got it as, raised the profile, and then helped raise the profile of HBCUs. The man is not a sellout. The man is following the path that all the white coaches follow, that you have to kind of follow in coaching. And for Dion, part of the reason he went to Jackson State outside of maybe to bring recognition to HBCUs is he started coaching in, I want to say 2012, the high school route. So he was already an older guy. Kirby Smart, conversely, started in 99, like right after his coaching career. So I'm sorry, playing career. So Kirby Smart had basically 17 years from 99 up into 16 when he took over the Georgia job. Dion doesn't have 17 years to wait because he'll be a severely old man. He was trying to fast track his weight. Dion is like 55 now. He'll be 56 when the season starts next year. If he wants to get, which I think kind of like a Florida State job, he probably needs to have that by 60. Because once he gets past that age, it's possible that presidents might hold his age against him, saying that he can't connect or whatever. So he took this opportunity, which I kind of thought he should take the South Florida job. But I get why he's taking Colorado because he believes he can get the kids there. If he can, it'll be fine. But this is the path. Coach Saban started coaching at Toledo. Then he went to Michigan State. Then he went to LSU. Then he had to stop at Miami. Then he went to Alabama, which is a destination place, which LSU was too. But he took a shot. Urban Meyer started at Bowling Green. I want to say. Then he went to Utah. Then he got to Florida, destination place. Then he went to Ohio State, another destination place. So really, Dion is doing the same thing those guys are doing. It's just that Dion played in the NFL, so he doesn't want to wait till he's 70 to try and get to where those guys are. And I think that's how people need to look at it. Hopefully, what I took from it is that everybody should say, well, damn, Jackson State is a great job now. Because if you come be a head coach at Jackson State and you're successful, you can go get a Power 5 conference coaching job. And that's exactly how they should look at it instead of how it was before. Because before Dion, who would think that you could go to Jackson State and get a Power 5 job?
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
I hope everybody kind of looks at it more that way than he's selling out. So he's trying to be a coach, trying to take care of probably his family, but also take care of the coaches that are under him, like these other guys have done.
Yeah, I mean that's well stated, Zach. And what you said is hard to not disagree with that. Based on the landscape, way things are done, the way things have been done, the way things are, all that. Yes. However, for me, right, Coach Prime went to Jackson State with a totally different message. He didn't go to Jackson State under those same premises like that. Like, okay, this is where I'm just gonna do my career, start my things off and do what we can. And he came in saying that he's going to level the playing field for HBCU sports. That was his mission. That's what he sold the Jackson State base on, the HBCU base on, is that he wanted to change the culture. Then there's nothing wrong with changing your mind on whatever your plans are, but that was the plan that he laid out and what he sold to people, not only to the fan base, he sold to players as well. Because he had players that also said they were coming to change the culture, change the landscape. This is where the elite players can now come to, and you can be an NFL player. You can come to an HBCU as a top elite player and change that narrative. And so my only issue with it is that he left out before the cement can dry. He left out, in my opinion, he left out a little too soon. Not that you can't leave, but based on what you sold people on as your reason. And then also when in the post interview, in the little private interview that he had with the team, he mentioned that in coaching, you elevate or you get terminated. And that makes sense in that world that you just set up, Zach, and the way things are already kind of rolling. But he was at Jackson State. This is a whole different ball game. Jackson State ain't firing Deion Sanders, so he wasn't under no pressure for that. If there's other reasons, that hopefully maybe they'll come out later, but that's not what he told his team. And so I just think that, whatever happened, maybe it's just the money, the contract, all the other things that he noticed, and maybe there's some things he did notice in the administration at Jackson State, or some things that maybe they started butting heads behind scenes, and he's like, hey, I got to go. But when that comes out, until then, I have to go by what he said and how he sold everything. So for me, he's done great work. There's no denying that at all. But some of the things that he said, that he was going to send more HBCU players to the NFL and so on and so forth. Well, he's leaving before his classes that he recruited can even get to that point. So that's where, my eyebrow raises some on that with Deion. I still like Deion. He's still my guy and all that good stuff. But, I have to be fair. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was saying when he went there based on what he told me and everyone else. And so I'm giving it right back to him for him leaving. And not that I'm wishing any ill will or anything like that, but it is what it is from how he painted the picture, in my opinion, on that. So that's what I had to say about Coach Prime.
And Mr. Thomas, before you comment, I'll say something real quick. This is for you there, Mr. 401. You know both my ex-wives. I assure you, when I married them, I loved them to death, and I had the best intentions, and I thought I was going to ride with them into the grave until circumstances happen and/or better options. So
I hear you.
I am certain Deion meant everything that was in his heart when he was saying all that stuff, and life happens.
Yeah. I mean, but he should have known. I mean, I'm certain he knew what the pay scale was for coaching in the SWAC and MEAC and some FCS levels. I think he knew that going in.
But I don't think it was a pay scale with him. Like if it was money, I don't think it was. I think it falls more to where I was saying that he doesn't want to wait until 70.
You think he's on a time crunch?
No, he isn't. Not that he is on a time crunch. Kirby Smart is only 46 now. By the time Kirby Smart is his age, I think Kirby will spend like 12, 13, 14 years at Georgia, where he's going to retire at the University of Georgia. I don't know if Deion wants to go to Florida State, but if he did want the Florida State job, they're not going to offer him that job when he's 70, because people will recruit against him because he'll be a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, but
my opinion, I'll let Mr. Thomas fill in the thing, but that's just what I'm thinking. But I don't think Deion in any way was trying to mislead anybody.
Well, I don't think, but I just don't feel like he can imagine that in that type of time frame that going to Jackson State, he was going to get all those things. So, you know what I'm saying?
Get all what things?
All the things you just said.
Like what?
End up at Georgia. End up at these places. Like he went to Jackson State.
You don't think Deion Sanders was like a top 5 or whatever pick in the NFL and played 2 sports? You don't think he's thinking about the big picture?
No, when he said he was going to Jackson State,
Tyrell,
he didn't lay that out.
When I was recruited, coaches. I'll let Mr. Thomas talk. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas. I'll let you.
I mean, I'm going by what Deion said. Am I wrong, fellas?
Am I wrong? Coach, I don't want Mr. Thomas to give away any secrets, but I'll let Mr. Thomas handle this.
All right, good.
Let me give my perspective. Mr. 411, you said that Deion told parents and told athletes, if you come to Jackson State, we're going to level the playing field. We're going to get kids to the NFL from HBCUs. He hasn't lied about that. He's bringing kids in. He has a coaching staff that is there that can still get those same kids to the NFL. Okay. Dion has gone to the administration, and it was never about the money because he gave half of his salary back to the university just to make sure that he could have the facilities that he thought that his athletes needed, so that mentality can think like an NFL player. They wanted to have the right mindset to be able to have the right locker rooms, have running water, have good living environment. So he gave up money and he tapped into a lot of resources.
Yes.
He called Under Armour and said, hey, can you assist us? Jackson State had almost more uniforms than any other university in the country outside of Oregon. So he did not paint a false picture in any regards. He's trying to get these kids' mindset right, as well as getting them there physically. And he told the university, I need to get my assistant coaches paid. Okay? I just want them to get paid because they can't live on the salary that they're living on. They came here because of their relationships with me. They came. Okay? Now, his objective, I don't know what was said behind the scenes. I don't know what they told him, what they told the coaching staff as it relates to getting them paid. But you have two really, really good seasons after not having winning seasons for years. You can give out some bonuses. You can help those coaches financially. When Dion gave his personal salary up to help lift up the facilities at the university, how much money did the community of Jackson make from taxes, hotel sales, restaurants, apparel? You know, alumni are upset. Students are upset. The media people are trying to be in a frenzy. But let's be real about this. Dion has given more than the alumni has. If you only have 10% of the alumni giving back to the university, what's the other 90% doing? So it's all about finances. And the only way he could get his coaches the money that they deserve is he had to leave. Now, opportunities were presented to him, and after some prayer, he took the best opportunity that was set out for him and wherever he was guided. Okay, so now he sat down with the athletic director and said, hey, I recommend my associate head coach become the new director and head coach for the program. Because when Dion was out in the hospital, he was leading the team. They were being very successful. They were winning. So guess what? He still has a staff there that can get these kids to the next level. And now they're able to get a little bit more money because the money that he was getting paid, those coaches can get. That's just my opinion in that regard.
No, that's a great opinion. It's a great opinion.
And let me just paint a picture for you. The Georgia offensive coordinator, which Todd Monken, we good with him right now, makes $2 million a year. And he's the OC. You and I, Mr. 401, have a friend, my high school teammate, buddy of both of ours that we hung out with extensively, that is on the Georgia coaching staff. He makes high six figures, more than Dion was making as the head coach at Jackson State. So these individuals, just like the athletes, have a limited window to make money. I know people don't think about that with coaches at the time, but he is correct. When you're a coach, there's only a few ways you go out, and one of them can be terminated. So he wants to help these guys maximize their money, and outside of putting them all in position so they can go out there and become whatever they want to become, be it coordinators, head coaches. And I said, go back to Kirby. Kirby has a couple head coaches out there that I know, like Michigan State head coach came from Kirby. Oregon head coach came from Kirby. So if Dion goes out here and does what he's supposed to do, he's going to get guys out there into it. And look, he may be also thinking, believe it or not, I'm going to help get minorities into these positions, get them the resumes that they need. So when these head coaching opportunities come up, they'll be on the list and they'll have a good chance to get selected. Because outside of Dion, tell me the great head coaching candidate that someone at a Power 5 would take. Like Auburn took Hugh Freeze, which Hugh Freeze is a solid coach or whatever, but Hugh Freeze's hands was dirty. Lane Kiffin's hands have been dirty. Tennessee on their basketball coach. No, I'm sorry. Auburn on their basketball coach has Bruce Pearl, who has had his hands dirty. So how do you get minorities to be qualified enough to be in a position so they can even get an interview and actually be a legitimate candidate? Now, he hasn't said that, but maybe that's something he's thinking about there.
So that sounds like a different mission statement than the one that he came in with. And that's what I'm talking about. I agree with the things that you're saying about the salaries and pay and at the different levels. But again, you're talking to beat the FBS level. This is the FCS level that he went to. So they already knew that going in. So the change is leveling the playing field would be what you're saying. The coach that we know at the position that he's coaching gets paid this, but over here, they don't get that type of salary. So leveling the playing field so that's what he said he was coming in to do. So I understand where things are. And I believe Deion Sanders knew that too. So that's where I'm going with it, is that what were you going to do to level the playing field? So leaving, in my opinion, doesn't level the playing field. It made a better situation for Jackson State, but not leveling the playing field. What do y'all think about that?
I mean, that may be true, but at the same time, situations change all the time in the coaching world. At every level, things change. New opportunities present themselves. Now, he went in with the right mindset. He went in with a vision. He went in doing what he said he was going to do. And he put that effort in. He elevated the program. He elevated the athletes. And another opportunity presented itself. A multitude of opportunities presented themselves. He had to take those opportunities into consideration.
And I think Colorado is completely turning the program over to him. And I want to say not necessarily a blank checkbook, but from a Colorado standpoint, I think they are giving him a blank checkbook so he can go out. Like, they're totally committed to building the football program. I don't know how he can say no to that.
Yeah, I guess that falls back to the playing field not being level, because Colorado can throw whatever they threw at them that a Jackson State won't be able to throw at them. I think that's where the rubber met the road.
I'm just go back to Urban Meyer and Nick Saban. I don't think anybody was upset that Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, and forget them. I can even go back to Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant was at Kentucky. He left Kentucky because he said this is a basketball school. Went to A&M, built A&M up some, and then he took the Alabama job. Like, this is just what coaches. It is hard to do what Kirby Smart did. Like, it's hard to be an assistant and then you get a destination job like Georgia, or Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. Like, Marcus Freeman was very blessed to get the Notre Dame job when you don't really have any head coaching experience. Like, that just doesn't typically happen. So unless you're telling me Deion has no aspirations to go to another level, you kind of have to take these jobs when they're available. Because like the Florida State job, I kind of thought the Florida State job would be open, but that coach has turned it around. It may never come open now because that Florida State guy, he may just keep things rolling, get 10, 11 win season, go win a national championship, and then you lost out on that job. So if you don't take a job, who knows if you ever going to get that job?
Yeah. Anything else on that, LT?
No. Nope.
All right, cool. Damon Farms, thank you. Thank you for chiming in there.
Greetings. How you doing, Damon?
All right. LT, what's some of the impact there? I know you mentioned those three initials the last time you was on the show with us. How does the NLI tie into all this?
Well, NLI, National Letter of Intent, I think it's going to be a major, major impact. And the reason I say that, football signing day is December 21st.
Excuse me. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
So December 21st to December 23rd. It's a very short window for the early signing for football. And coaches are going to go to the portal first. That's the first place college coaches are going to go. They're going to go to the portal, get athletes from the portal. Then they're going to go to JUCO. Then they're going to go to those high school kids. So this could affect the amount of scholarships that are available. I know quite a few scholarships have been pulled, offers and opportunities have been pulled already at the college level. I mean, at the high school level. And so with so many athletes entering the portal, coaches are looking right now on what areas they can plug in the areas that they need now. So it's going to play a very big part in affecting NLI and how many offers are still on the table.
My goodness. Well, yeah, it's a madhouse right now. And here's a couple of decommits to Jackson State, thanks to Coach Prime. But there's some more players deciding to leave. They're decommitting. Look at these great players here decommitting. I mean, and they probably end up in Colorado, which would be great for them individually. But yeah, so, but again, with that portal, right? Are there anything in there like, as far as like transferring? Because I'm assuming that when you jump into a portal, that means you're transferring. Can you transfer multiple times?
If you enter the portal within the time period that the portal is open. So the portal is only open during certain times of the year. So the portal is open December 5th to January 18th, and then I believe May 1st to May 15th. So you have to enter the portal during those time periods. So if you don't enter during those time periods, you could potentially miss out. And I do know several athletes. The coaches rule, if you enter the portal, you are immediately off the team. So
wow.
Some athletes are going to enter the portal and potentially not have a place to play next year because there are so many people entering the portal so fast. It can affect a lot of people's future.
So is that kind of like you just out there in the ocean, just kind of floating around, basically?
I mean,
if you jump in there like
much.
that and no school,
I mean, yeah,
that's a
because
place for you.
you're really not talking to any coaches prior to jumping in the portal.
Wink, wink.
There you go. There you go. Wink, wink. So, but yeah. So, all right, Mr. 411.
Yes, sir.
Let's say I enter the portal. You enter the portal.
Okay.
Now, you have no reason to enter the portal. You're playing on a really good basketball team. My basketball team is terrible. I'm not getting much playing time. You're the starting point guard. You're out there doing a great job.
Well, this sounds good.
I enter the portal. Things are looking up for me. Then all of a sudden, you jump in the portal. A coach is going to take you before they take me.
I get it.
Because the opportunity is there.
I see where you're going.
NCAA is a business. It's about wins and losses. Coaches get paid based on their wins and losses. They get bonuses based on wins and losses. So some athletes could be in a lot of trouble because someone else that's better than them entered the portal.
And I'm gonna guess we probably don't have it. I should have asked the producers to get it. But Deion's speech when he went to Colorado, like his speech to the player, like it sounds harsh.
Yeah, he told
but it is what it is. And this is why I like the portal, because for years, what I've tried to say is college is a business. But the kids didn't ever get the benefit from the business side. The coaches and the administration and everything, they get to do the business side. Like So I think this like I don't think it's bad that he told them kids that like that's how life is. If you don't produce, people ain't gonna keep you around. And the people that don't produce or can't produce for his school, as Mr. Thomas was saying, they'll get in the portal or whatever. Maybe they'll have to go to Jackson State, which that will be good for Jackson State, depending on how good these athletes are. Or they may go to Division II route, but there'll be opportunities for them. They'll just have to figure out the right place for them to fit in. But I think it's fair for everybody now. Probably the worst part is, as our buddy Rob says, he doesn't like that the high school kids get squeezed. And I understand that does suck that the high school kids get squeezed. But I do think the positive is that each roster in theory should have the best 85 players or whatever that scholarship limit is on that team each year, you would think.
Yeah. Oh, and what's going on? Is it Mr. Dunnigan Jr.? All right. Thank you, L. Dunnigan Jr. He says, greetings, brothers.
Hello, sir.
Hey, bro. How you doing?
All right. LT, you just bring them out, man. You know,
Hey,
you the
brother.
man of the people.
Hey, it's just show. I'm
Kind of like Coach Prime and how he brought Snoop Dogg to Jackson State. I hope Snoop attends next season. I hope he attends a couple of games at Jackson State next season.
Don't be like that, Mr. 401.
We'll see him in a Colorado sweatshirt next year too. But that's cool too.
He's probably a friend of Deion, but I just think I'm gonna equate this to the school I followed, Georgia. Before Mark Richt came along, Georgia was floundering like 6, 7, 8 win season. Maybe they would pop a 10-win season there occasionally. Mark Richt came along and he got them to the point that 10, 11 wins was kind of the standard. And Kirby comes along and he pushed it to a different place. If Jackson State brings in the right guy and keeps the same mentality they have, they can keep this train going and push it to the next thing. Because I saw some things with Ray Lewis might be a candidate. Like maybe you go get Ray Lewis. He's a guy that's kind of like Deion, that he is a big talker, can get people motivated. Like this isn't the end for Jackson State. Like this isn't the end for other HBCUs or whatever. And I'd say FBS schools in general. UAB, a non-power 5, they hired Trent Dilfer. So I think they were following the Jackson State model that we're going to get us a guy. He doesn't necessarily have head coaching, but he's a face. He can promote our brand. And maybe this is something schools can do. So this is the model Jackson State wants to follow. They can follow it. They can go get a guy.
Well, I got a name for you guys, and we can go ahead and do that. Great transition there, Zach. For Jackson State, I like Ed Reed. That's a name that I like.
Yeah,
he's over the University of Miami.
Yes.
But he was close to getting he was close to getting the Grambling job actually at one time.
Ain't he from New Orleans though?
He's from the Louisiana area, yeah. So, but Southern's already locked in with Eric Dooley, and Grambling has Hugh Jackson. Is that right? Yeah. They have Jackson from the NFL. Yeah. So maybe they should make a push for him, or another name would be Marshall Faulk. I don't think anybody really talked about him, but Marshall Faulk is a bright mind.
That would be good. Now, I guess their thing is, are they trying to get somebody that's going to be I hate to say talker, but Deion is kind of talker. Are they trying to get someone that can promote the school, not somebody that's just gonna, like Hugh Jackson is a good hire for Grambling, but he's not a promoter. So are they looking for a promoter? Because if they are, as I said, I think Ray Lewis or Ed Reed would be fine. You get some of them type of guys, and then just make sure they got a good staff. And look, there's a lot of coaches out there that follow Saban that need that rehab. Maybe they go to Jackson State on a discount, and they do this for 2, 3, 4 years and move on. That's why I think it's a great selling point. I think Deion enhanced the program.
Oh, he definitely did that.
I mean, just letting them know that if I'm a coach and maybe I did something that I need to rehabilitate myself. I can go to Jackson State now, rehabilitate myself, and then build up to get another program, like what Lane Kiffin did, or what Hugh Freeze is doing at Auburn, or even I forget what Bobby Petrino is. But saying like all three of those guys had stuff going on, and now they're back in head coaching positions. That's a motivation, even if the salary isn't great, for you to put in the hard work for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Or would you agree with that, Mr. Thomas?
Absolutely.
There it is. Well stated, LT. All right, but yes. But no, it's spot on, right? So I mean, it's gonna be a great place. Like Jackson State, just to let people know, Jackson State already had a great fan base, you know what I'm saying, before Coach Prime got there. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of part of the reason too, to go there. They have a big stadium. Yes. They do have some issues within the city itself, but as far as a landing spot, and 19 SWAC championships as well. So they do have a history of winning games. And Ashley Robinson, the athletic director, is doing great work there. He has Mo Williams, former All-Star in the NBA, is the head basketball coach. Tamika Reed, head women's basketball coach. They gave LSU a scare in the tournament last year, and they beat a couple major teams this season already. So Jackson State has some people in place, and I think that they will do fine. It won't be the same, but but that's like any other major thing. Like if you've been to the Super Bowl, then every other football game ain't the same after that either. So, but it's still going to be good things. LT, want to know something from you. Your thoughts on Deion's decision to go to Colorado. How do you think it's going to pan out for
him? Like I said earlier, this man has been blessed at every level that he's been at. And I think he's again, it's my opinion, he's a follower of Christ. He listens to what is being told. And I think if he prays and obeys, he's going to be successful. Like Zach said earlier, I think Colorado is just giving him carte blanche to do whatever he wants to build the program. And he's going to build that program. Not just because he's prime. He got pride. And so he don't like to lose. And he's not going to tolerate mediocrity. All he knows is winning. And so he's going to continue to try and bring that same energy, that same attitude, and promote those athletes. Sometimes Deion can talk to you and make you believe that you are better than you are, and it's going to elevate you to become better than you are.
Yeah.
That's just, like you mentioned earlier, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis would be a dynamic Jackson State, but in order to keep Jackson State and HBCUs in the spotlight, you're going to need another Deion Sanders Jr. in that stable to continue to promote the social media aspects like Deion Sanders Jr. has done.
Gotcha. Good point.
And so the social media aspect is going to be huge. It brings about so much attention to Jackson State and other HBCUs. If everyone followed that same methodology, HBCUs could explode quickly.
Very good point. Very good point, because social media aspect was definitely on point the last couple of years there at Jackson. Very good point on that. That is well taken. I hope a lot of other programs are listening to you on that one, because that is key. Promoting is really key on that. How do you feel about the conference, Zach? Do you think that Coach Prime in the Pac-12 with USC and UCLA heading out the door in a couple seasons, you think this is the ideal spot?
Well, I I could care less about who else is there if I'm being real. Like I thought Auburn, as a Georgia fan, glad Auburn didn't get him. I didn't think Auburn would get him, but Auburn is a championship program. If Auburn had hired Deion Sanders, they're gonna win a national championship in the next 10 years because he's gonna get recruits. So the only question at Colorado is he gonna get recruits? It won't matter who's in the conference. Now, the great thing for him is being in the Pac-12, you're not in the South where you're gonna have to deal with them across the offensive and defensive line at Alabama, Georgia, places like that. He's gonna get guys. If until he doesn't get guys, I will believe that he will get guys, and that means as long as you got the players, he should be able to win, and he's gonna get coaches. I think we talked about Shador. I don't think Shador is the greatest quarterback in the world, but when I watch him play, you can tell he's coached because he does all of the things you should do as a quarterback. And Deion was able to draw some really great coaches in there. And I think sometimes, kind of like Mr. Thomas said, like a coach a coach can't give you more talent, but what a coach can do is put you in position to maximize whatever it is you have. And Deion has gone above and beyond to bring people in to help do that for all his players. And something I was thinking about too. At one point, Deion said, hey, HBCUs have to stop going take the discount to go play against teams. Now that he's in Colorado, he'll have the opportunity to schedule HBCUs and help them get that payday. So just because he's in Colorado don't mean that he is going to stop trying to help HBCUs be successful. Like that's why I said people need to maybe look at the bigger picture, that he can do more now than what he could do at Jackson State. But I think he will have a James Franklin type journey that at Colorado, like what James Franklin did at Vanderbilt. I could easily see Deion doing that at Colorado. Maybe not next year, but I think everything will build. And in 3-4 years, he's going to be at a big time Power 5 school. Like I'll be shocked if 4 years from now, he's not at a big time Power 5 school that can win a national title.
Oh, very good, guys. Man, this was good. Any closing remarks on Coach Prime in Colorado?
Yeah, I have one more thing to add.
Yes, sir.
Zach did mention Shador and the quarterback spot. The one thing that I really liked in one of the interviews that Deion had, he introduced Shador as the quarterback. He says, this is your quarterback, but he's going to have to earn his spot.
Yes.
Okay. So Deion is realistic and knows that his son is talented, but he's still going to put the best players on that field. And he has to earn his spot. So, you're my son and I love you, but you have a lot of resources available to you now. You're going to have to utilize everything that you've been given to show up. And as Deion would say, show out in order to get that spot. So I wish all these athletes the best. Everyone that has entered the portal, I wish them luck. And let's get it.
I'm already following Colorado football on my ESPN. So Mr. 411 is gonna hate me. But they're my second favorite team now.
Yeah, it should have been Jackson State.
I'm sorry, third favorite team. I follow Jackson State and watch their games, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They should be your second one to follow, but that's okay. I'm still following Jackson State, guys.
Nothing wrong with that. That is good.
Yeah. Well, look, LT, we're running up against the clock. If you don't mind, you want to hang around for about 5-6 minutes with us?
Sure. All
right, good. We'll jump right into the NBA right quick. Promise you it won't be that long.
Good.
With the NBA, let's keep an eye on the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Right, this is the next greatest thing. He's projected to be even a greater prospect than LeBron James, and coming out of high school. And the San Antonio Spurs, they're doing their best to make sure they're in position. So they've been basically 1-15 over the last 16 games or so. So they're making sure they're in position.
Great job.
Yep. And so we have
plan is working.
it's coming together. They making sure they're in position. So keep an eye on the Spurs. Every time you see that ticker go by, if you see an L there, don't feel bad for them because they're definitely looking to bring back the days of Tim Duncan, if you will. All right, that's enough for the NBA. So that'll be quick. The NFL, we get these scores up here. The LT, I know you like this because your Steelers were in the great state of Georgia and had a victory over the Atlanta Falcons, and so they have a big matchup coming up this week, right? Against a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so the Steelers with a big win. Dallas, they took over. They just dominated the Colts.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, Tom Brady with a big comeback. Man, what else is on here? My Seahawks won, so they're back into the playoff. And by the way, gentlemen, Seattle will at this point have the number 3 pick. So if you all don't mind, please keep rooting for teams to beat the Broncos each week.
I don't think it matters. Like, you ain't got to root for it. they doing well. They all on their own. They find new ways. Like, can they score 20 points?
I tell you, man, it's crazy. All right. Here's the playoff standings as it is today. I don't see a Steelers helmet yet, but I think they're going to try to work their way in there, Lamont. But there's the seedings right there.
Over 500.
Hey, if Coach Tomlin gets the Steelers over 500, he should probably be coach. Well, the Jets guy will probably be the number 1 coach of the year. Tomlin should be 2 because it's amazing. Like they have a chance. They have a chance to be over 500, and Lord Jesus, like
it's crazy.
They don't have the talent that they normally have. So this would be great for them.
I mean, you know, if they gave me a vote for Coach of the Year, I'll probably vote for Coach Tomlin every year. I just like, you know, I follow the Steelers as well because I want to hear all the post-game interviews of Tomlin and the presser and everything. And man, he made me want to play football. You know, so he's an excellent coach, and he should be the next coach of Jackson State, by the way. But
stop it! Whoa. Stop it! He already would take the USC job because he said they didn't have a checkbook big enough. He will never leave the Steelers, and I am definitely not a Steelers fan because you know I'm a old Houston Oilers fan. But I love Coach Tom. Hey, Coach Tomlin he's a great man. Like he's a man's man, and I definitely pull for the Steelers because the Rooneys went out of the box and did something that owners were not doing at that time. So I always want Coach Tomlin to win as long as he's there.
Yep, picked him up as a young man, and now look at him, he's still there. And good job by the Steelers.
Destination job, by the way. See, that's why you getting them destination jobs, and that's why he said, "Ain't no checkbook big enough for me to leave." Because when you get the destination job, nope, no.
Yep. All right. Well, guess what, guys? 2020, right? When you have 2020 vision, that means everything's perfect, right? But there are times when 2020 goes wrong, man. And so 20-20 here with the Commanders and the Giants tie game. I think the Giants really need to get a W there if they're going to kind of stay in the race and everything. I guess a tie isn't worse. I mean, it's the worst case scenario, but they should have got a W there. I believe it was up 23 at one point. In that one.
It wouldn't run the ball with Saquon. Like I for whatever reason, he started believing in Daniel Jones. Like, don't do it. Keep doing hand the ball off like you've been doing. Do not believe in Daniel Jones because that's what lost the damn game. I was like, I think first possession of overtime threw 3 straight passes. I was like, are you out of your mind? So that was Dayball's fault that day. Like, don't know what he was drinking.
All right. And last but not least, Jalen Hurts. He's been hurting the league right now. And let's get your thoughts on Jalen Hurts, LT. Do you think he's MVP? And what else do you think about him?
I mean, he's an MVP candidate. I love the one thing I love about Jalen Hurts is the fact that he has an all-women support system around him. His manager, his attorney, his agent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's given women an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And he's showing everyone else in the league, hey, I got an all-women crew, and I'm being successful. And they're helping me be better. So I'm loving him for that. And he's playing ball, man. You know, ever since he left Alabama, Oklahoma, I was just like, let's work. You know, I didn't want him. I didn't like him very much when we played him.
A bit.
But you know,
Yeah.
good dude.
Yeah, he's doing some excellent things there, man, and doing great things. All right, well, it's almost time to get up out of here, but don't forget, look across the bottom there. Check out Lamont E. Thomas, and the phone number is down there: 518-61-CIGAR, 518-61-CIGAR. Ash and Smoke. So Smoke one. And check this out, LT. Couldn't let you get away without seeing this. I saw some key initials here, and then I see a buffalo in the background. So, I mean, Dion is spreading his wings, right? And IMG is a great place to find some talent. So we'll see what happens there.
Shame on you.
He's been on campus looking.
Yeah, I bet.
Shame on you if you're a head coach and you don't have a relationship with IMG Academy.
Exactly.
Like, that should be a fireable offense.
I second that one, Zach. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. So, man, we thank you, Lamont, for being on.
And I'm sorry. Can you put that photo back up there again real quick, please? Why didn't he go to the University of Georgia? That's the first thing. Look, we got he should have been going to the University of Georgia. Like, everybody at IMG should always choose Georgia first. Then we trickle down to these other universities. Like, if Georgia doesn't have space for you, okay, then you can go somewhere else. I mean, we'll have to talk to our friend on the Georgia coaching staff. Like, hey, man, come on now. We know somebody at IMG for you.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, that's good stuff there. All right, Lamont, we thank you for being on.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate
All right.
you.
You're always welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you, sir.
All right. For Zach, I'm Mr. 401. And Lamont E. Thomas, we all thank you for watching and listening. Check out Ash and Smoke Cigar. Let's do that number one more time, LT. I'll let you do it. Take us out.
518-612-4427. 518-612-4427. Or 518-61-CIGAR.
That's my number right there. All right. Everybody have a good night.
Go Buffs!